Hey everybody, it's David here. So today I want to review an article I read on CNBC called 5 Lifestyle Changes to Make If You Want to Get Rich in 2020. I'll post in the description a link to the article so you can read it if you'd like. And if you're getting value from this channel, I'd love for you to subscribe and press that like button. So the first thing that the article talks about is generating 2 incomes. It says that the richest people focus on earning, with 65% of them having 3 sources of income before they earn their first $1 million. And it also discusses employing the Jay Leno strategy, which is when you have 2 sources of income, you actually save the larger of the 2 and you live off the smaller one. Now, I think having a primary reliable source of income is extremely important while you work on your side hustles and other projects. What you might end up finding happens is that your side hustles or your other projects ends up growing and becoming your primary source of income because it outpaces what your original primary source was. And I really think the reason for this is you end up being able to be more passionate and really engaged when you're working on your side hustles. And then when you're engaged and you're giving it the attention that it needs, it really does allow it to thrive and grow and gives it the nurturing that it needs. Now, if you are thinking about taking the leap and getting rid of that primary source of income and focusing on that side hustle as your full primary source, that's fantastic, but you do want to make sure that you get that side hustle up large enough to where it's not going to cause any impact in your life. Now, I like to think of this as a dock and a boat. So the dock is the primary source of income that you have. The boat is your secondary source of income. Now you want to make sure you get that boat close enough to the dock so when you go and make that leap, it's not too far that you would have to jump. And I know taking that leap can be scary and something that can induce fear for people, but if you stop and think about it for a second, I really don't think the negative consequences are as bad as what they could be. Even if you were to go out and fail, which again, highly unlikely because you've made sure that you've got the boat close enough to the dock, but even if you did have a total disaster failure, I still think you could go back and re-get that job that you left that was your primary source of income. So ultimately, sit down, think about it for a little bit, and take the leap. The second step the article talks about is save to invest. It says that wealth isn't measured by the amount of money made each year, but instead how much is saved and invested over time. It also says that millionaires invest 20% of their household income each year. Now, the ultimate goal here is to create a passive income that will replace your active income over time, and this will ultimately give you financial independence. Now, once you reach this point, you really will start to think differently about your work. You're no longer having to work because you have to work. You're working because you are choosing to work. And that's a total different mindset shift from what you're used to doing and used to that 9-to-5 job. So just stop for a second and imagine being able to have money rolling in around the clock without you even having to think about it. Think of the peace of mind that that's going to give you. It's amazing what you're going to be able to do with that money, all the amazing giving that you're going to be able to do. So let's stop for just a second and let's think about that. Now, do you have that image in your mind? That right there is your motivation and what you need to drive every day to get you to create that passive income that's going to be working for you. Again, we want that money to work for you to where you don't have to trade your time for money. It's a very important mindset shift that does have to occur. The third thing the article talks about is to automate your finances. It says that the easiest way to ensure that you're sticking with investing is to automate the process and to set up regular transactions so that the money goes directly from your paycheck into your savings account before you even bring it home. These are some very good points that the article brings up. So we as humans are extremely adaptable. This can be a really positive and a really negative thing. The positive side of this is it really does allow us to get through some really awful times in life. But the negative side of this is that if we end up getting used to and adapting to having this additional income coming home and we touch it, That means we're going to spend it, we're going to find ways to use that money, and odds are we're not going to use it on saving and investing. So automating this process really is the best thing that you can do. Get it to come out of your paycheck before you even bring that money home. Don't let yourself have the chance to spend that money. But what's really super important here is that you get started. You don't want to look up 5 or 10 years from now and realize, I haven't been investing at all. I've been spending everything that I've been using. I don't have any money. You want to have that time and compound interest on your side, so you have to get started. This can be small. It can be 3, 4, 5%. Again, whatever that employer match is, that's where I want you. Then I want you to work that up to that 15 to 20% that they're discussing in this article. But you're not going to get there if you don't start. So you have to get started so that you can increase and increase and increase over time to where after you've paid off that mortgage, you can invest and you can really grow that investment up to 40, 50, 60% of your income, because you can take that extra mortgage payment, combine it with the retirement that you've already had going at 15 to 20%, and really get that value up there. You set yourself up wonderfully for the future, and you really allow yourself to have an awesome life and an amazing giving ability. The fourth thing the article talks about is to build relationships with successful people. It says that network is key, and generally your network mirrors the level of your closest friends because you become like the people that you hang around with. And so if you're hanging around with unmotivated, pessimistic people, guess what? You're going to end up unmotivated and pessimistic. So don't set yourself up for this failure. Take a moment, evaluate what friends, what network, personal, business that you have, and decide, is this the direction that you want your life to go? If it is, great, you're on track. If not, make a change. It's one of the most amazing things that we can do as humans. We can wake up and decide, you know what, I'm going to change today. So make this evaluation, decide what you need to do, and hang out with people that you want to be like. Let yourself be there, embrace what they're doing, evolve, change, grow, and become like the people you're hanging out with because you're excited and you like the way that they're doing things. You'll end up marrying this and end up creating something that you are proud of and ultimately will get you to grow and advance in your life. And so hanging around successful people is also going to challenge you. So this is going to get you to be motivated, and it's going to get you to push the boundaries of what you thought was even possible for yourself. And so the fifth thing the article talks about is to think big. It says to set your expectations extremely high and make sure you're up for the challenge. You always need to be improving and growing, otherwise you're going to become stagnant, and that's going to allow you to get passed by. And that's something that you don't want to do. And so in order to do this, to make sure you're not getting passed by, you need to set short and long-term goals for yourself. And this is something that I've done over the past few years, and it's really made a big difference in my life. And I don't think I would be as successful as I am today if I hadn't set these goals. And so I like to set goals in 7 areas. The first being financial, second, career, third, family, 4, physical, 5, spiritual, 6, social, and 7th, intellectual. And so what I do with this is you really want to sit down and make these goals somewhere around 2 or 3 per each one of those categories, and you have to make them SMART goals though. So they do have to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, as well as time-bound. If you set SMART goals in those 7 areas, it's going to set you up for extreme success in your life, and I think you're going to be happy with the outcomes that you see. So in summary, I think the article does a really nice job. It's very thought-provoking, and it does set you up for success in the future, and I don't think it's just for 2020 as the article's titled. I think these are principles and values that you can employ all throughout your life. So, as always, if you're getting value from the channel, please subscribe and hit that like button. We'll see you next time.